Welcome back, everyone. This is Austin here at 2FC Tactical. I'm going to kind of bring you a little bit of an update on what's happening here in Minnesota. Now, first off, we do deserve a congratulations, and we can't dive into that. But there is a great reminder here that the fight is never over. So let's talk about that in today's video. All right. So what is going on here in Minnesota? Now, you saw in our previous video that, yes, Minnesota is attempting to pass a slew of gun control bills. And this kind of stems out of 2025, which was a relatively violent year for Minnesota. And of course, the start of this year has not exactly been without its violence either, whether we're talking about the Melissa Hortman incident, and assassination. We shouldn't even call it assassination, as well as going into the Annunciation School shooting. And then starting off this year, obviously the encounters with ICE and protesters and the loss of life there. This has made the DFL here very aggressive on gun policy because it's always the guns, right? It's never the individuals doing the violence. It's always the gun's fault. Or at least that's the tact that the DNC and the DFL here have taken. Governor Walz, of course, is not running again. He is stepping down after this year, and according to him, leaving public life. We certainly hope that's true. He has not exactly run this state with any degree of success, unless it's talking about the daycare centers that we have. But that's not the purpose of today's video. We are going to talk about is the anti-gun bills that have been heard so far in the House here in Minnesota. So now we're talking about House or HF, that's a House Resolution, HF 3433-3402, and then there was one today on the state preemption law. Quick pause in the video, guys, to give a shout out to our channel sponsor, Patriot Mobile. Now, I've personally been a member of Patriot Mobile for several years now. Everyone is using a cell phone these days. So the question is, why not support someone who supports you, who stands up for the rights that you and I hold dear? And Patriot Mobile puts their money where their mouth is by donating a portion of every dollar they make to the causes that you and I hold dear. They use the same 5G networks that every other major provider uses. You're not sacrificing service. You're supporting a company that will support you. They're going to give our listeners a special discount. Using the code SHALLNOT and clicking the link down below, you will get a free month when you switch to Patriot Mobile. With that, let's get back to the video. State preemption law. So the assault weapons ban, magazine ban, the HF 3433 and 3402 did not advance out of committee. They both failed along party lines of a split 10-10. Now, what does that mean? That means that this does hang in the balance. And as I said in the previous video, Minnesota is split 50-50, 67-67 actually is the number, in the state house. It's a 21-19 for the DFL in the Senate. So there is a majority, a one-seat majority in the Senate. And, of course, the governor's mansion is with the DFL. So that means that our gun rights, unfortunately, our constitutional rights, hang in the balance by one vote. That is just the reality. Now, in this case, it did not advance. This is an election year, though. This could change. And just because it didn't advance out of committee doesn't mean it's fully dead either. The Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus, you absolutely should support them, and the NAGR, who have done amazing jobs fighting this and bringing up excellent witnesses on behalf of your and my rights. Despite the fact that there's shenanigans going on, you know, there was a whole bunch of testimony and stuff that was not allowed in the House because, of course, you know, those fighting for rights aren't allowed to be there, but those fighting for restrictions are. That is definitely what happened yesterday. Unfortunately, a lot of politics being played when it comes to our constitutional rights. And that's true across the country, by the way, not limited to the Second Amendment. We're seeing that with First Amendment stuff out in California. We are constantly seeing attacks on our rights because the whole purpose of government is to amass power. That's what it is. Now, there are checks and balances put in place that our founding fathers did in order to try to keep that power to a minimum. Unfortunately, a lot of that stuff has eroded over the years, but one of the major bulwarks against that is the Second Amendment, which is what we're here about in this channel. Now, today, we heard the Minnesota preemption laws. Now I say today, I'm filming this video. You're going to get that a little bit later. Today, the 25th of February, you'll get this obviously a little bit later. That did not advance out of committee. Again, that is stuck in committee, so therefore it will not be going up for a full vote yet. Now it's in one committee that it failed, the education committee, which you go, well, how's a state preemption law for passing bans on firearms across in cities and have to be statewide, not in the education committee and not just the criminal one? Good question. Again, because they're trying to get it across the finish line would be the answer. And we have done a video in the past. What does state preemption mean? That just means that there is a universal law for firearm ownership in the state of Minnesota. It means that whatever the law is in St. Paul will be the same in Minneapolis or Duluth or anywhere else. Pretty much every state has state preemption laws. Not all of them, but most of them do. And state preemption laws aren't limited to firearms. A finance law, for instance, would be under state preemption. The same tax codes and stuff are state preemption law, meaning the state sets those codes and the city can't come out and be like, we're just not going to ignore them and we're going to lower them or whatever. You know, there are state set laws that you have to abide by. If you want to amend those laws, then you have to do it statewide. You can't do it at the locality level. So that's what we're talking about today. And so far, again, it hasn't advanced. Now, we'll see what this means moving forward. There certainly could be a change. But as of right now, you deserve a pat on the back for continuing to fight and stand up for our rights. Again, shout out to Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus and NAGR. We really appreciate them. We've had the pleasure of having NAGR here at the 2F range. And again, great guys. They're fighting for your rights every single day at the federal level. And of course, the caucuses at the state and local levels are fighting too. So definitely support those guys. And again, shorter video today, just so you know, the fight's not over. They're definitely going to try again. They very well could try this session. Depending on how the election goes this year, there will be a try. There for sure will try again next year, regardless of how it goes. But how the voting totals go could change. It's one of those things that it's always uncomfortable when you know that your rights are hanging in the balance by one vote, one way or the other. It is uncomfortable. It's something that we here at 2F will continue to monitor. So please like, comment, subscribe, keep checking back in. Check out our news section on the website. We're writing about this stuff every single day. And while I don't always have time to make videos and get them up, you know, it takes a while to edit and everything, I definitely can get articles up faster, and we do articles all the time. And you can get subscribed on our website to follow. Every time a new article comes out, you'll get a notification. So we definitely appreciate everyone that has done that. Till next time, guys, we'll see you then. Keep your powder dry.